Hello. 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 Wow. How professional. Let's get right to it, I suppose. Recenter myself once more. Alright, there we go. Switch me. Boom. Oh baby. Actually, that's a bit wrong. Hold on. Why is this messed up? Oh, it's because my displays got flipped around. Does that mean this is also wrong? It does mean this is kind of wrong. Hold on. This one. Yeah, because I flipped my displays around because I needed to use like my fancy multi-display setup for work. And then, you know, I stopped needing to do that, but I never restarted my computer because I'm one of those people that just never turns off their computer. Well, you're killing the environment, shut up. Yeah, let's continue on with the pixel arts and the who's that's and the was it's. Pixel art stuff. Boom, add-ons. Let's see, here's our main stuff. Is this the first time I've opened this in VS Code? Oh, you know what? Is the reason why I've never opened this in VS Code? It's because it's actually like somewhat difficult to debug in an external editor. That's all right. I think what I'm doing right now kind of justifies whatever I'm doing. So check this out. So this is working, and also zooming in and out more or less still works. It's actually, I think it's actually still a little broken, but it's close enough. So you can see as we zoom in and out, I think it's actually starting to wiggle. It might not be wiggling off center. Sometimes when I wiggle it, zoom in, out repeatedly, it'll very slowly start to shift off center. But there is definitely a bias to zoom in towards the middle of the image. I'm not really sure what to do about that. I'm not really sure what to do about that. Mostly because I don't have access to a real camera. I only have access to this canvas object. Perhaps what I could do is, instead of having like a real camera, I could have another viewport inside of this viewport. So it's a viewport inside of a viewport, and then I could just wiggle around that inner viewport instead of like directly manipulating the canvas. Because I'm not actually able to add a camera to the scene, but I've never just worked with a viewport before. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure how that works, but you know what? That could totally work. That could totally work. So that's this viewport. And then if I add another viewport to this, hold on. Let's open up this thing. I had to restart my computer right before the stream. I know I'm like super late, but that's just how it goes sometimes. But now everything's just kind of out of whack. Let's see, git add all, git commit, start work on menu bar. Work's been rough recently. I took a very long nap this morning. Not this morning, this afternoon. So here we are, 1 hour late for the stream, more than 1 hour late. So it goes sometimes though. So it goes. Let's pull the bot into chat, by the way, just so I'm not alone. So here we go. Fresh start. Or more or less fresh start, right? So if we have a viewport, and then we'll need to scale this up to say like, 16 or something. Been looking for quite a while. I just want to come out, say I love your stream. You're my late night companion. Hello, pseudo Pedro. It's really cool. Glad I could be here for you some days of the week. I've been less consistent recently, but you know, as it turns out, IRL stuff tends to mess with the not IRL stuff. But thanks for hanging out. Much appreciated. But I'm glad that you find just kind of like aimless rambling to be interesting. Interesting enough to at least hang out for a little bit. Let me see. Only available in render. Not necessarily. I just find anything you do interesting. Nice. Sick. Paint drying stream incoming. We can talk about that all day. Actually, probably not, but I'll find something to talk about while we watch paint dry. I'll make you eat your words. How do I capture something inside of another viewport? Can't wait. Oh baby. It's been validated, thus it will happen. Using viewports. So you think of a viewport as a screen onto which the game is projected. Disable inputs. Not allowed to have a camera. Camera A will display on the root viewports. I don't have a... Do I need a... I don't think I want to double up on the viewports. Scaling and stretching, no. Capture. There's no data. Viewport container will become active and display anything it has inside. It's probably, ooh, maybe. Hold on. Maybe I do want to nest a viewport inside of the viewport, but then I'll need to use a viewport container. That could work. That could work. So it's kind of very, very strange. Here we go. So we'll have a viewport container inside of, so it'll be a doubly nested viewport container, viewport container, viewport. And then here's our actual canvas. Right. But this, the difference between this and this is that this viewport container, this upper level viewport container will never move, but it's necessary, I think. Wait a minute. Maybe, no, it's not necessary. Hold on. Yeah, this is actually, no, this is not necessary at all. What am I talking about? I thought that was kind of weird. Yeah, this isn't actually anchored to anything, right? So I could just move around this viewport container instead of moving around the canvas. Yes. Yes. Maybe. I'm trying to figure this out. Somehow this doesn't feel correct, though. Somehow that doesn't feel right. So, okay, how am I moving things around? How am I moving things around? So, inside of input, so this still receives input events. This actually probably should be like pass. So we should at least be intercepting some events. But that's almost besides the point. All right, and here's the bottom bar that we'll be using for our menu stuff, but not right now. So right now, this is how this is working, is moving around this canvas directly and scaling this canvas directly. What I'm trying to figure out and going in circles about is I don't want to move the canvas because it doesn't give me like any control over how we're zooming in, because the canvas is already being scaled to like this amount. So it's like, what if I just don't scale the canvas and instead scale the viewports? Yeah. Yeah. But it's not really scaling the viewport because we will be messing with the viewport size directly. Yeah, so we'll need to pre-calculate the viewport size. Yeah, okay. We got everything committed here, or not committed here, but like stored here. Yeah, or stored in Git, that's what I meant. And then we will start breaking stuff. Okay. Let's grab the var, let's see, it's the viewport size, or I guess viewport initial viewport size. We'll set that here. Here. Actually, when do I scale it? Yeah, this is it. Center the canvas and scale it. So we just want to center the canvas, but don't scale it. So the initial viewport size, we set here. So initial viewport size is equal to viewport size. Amazing. And then we don't want to scale the canvas. So that means this will look like this, right? So then what happens is we'll need to pre-calculate our increments, I guess. Our zoom increment. So then var zoom increment. Is that how you spell increment? We're going to assume it is. Initial viewport size zoom increment is equal to viewport size, initial viewport size, divided by 10, shall we say. And then we'll just scale up the viewport container. So onReady var viewport container, and then viewport container. Wow. What an original name. So then viewport container, rect size. How do I scale this up? I think we just, it's not multiplying. Well, there will be multiplication. We want to scale it up a few times. So let's scale it up like 4 times by the zoom increment. And let's see how that looks. That doesn't look right. Still doesn't. Lots of things look very broken still. Like this one needs to change to viewport container rec size plus equals zoom increments. Then similarly, we want to stop doing any operations directly on the canvas. That's pretty much what I'm doing here. Because doing everything directly to the canvas is making it hard to, you know, manipulate things in a more sensible way. Oh, geez. What the heck? What the heck? So there is a thing that's... Something's happening. Rec size. That is very strange. Ooh. So like nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. What if I... Like, there's no minimum size defined. I thought this would work, to be honest. We can still move it around. All right. Let's see. Move canvas. Let's mess with this one as well. If we're breaking stuff, let's go ahead and just break everything, I guess. Viewports container dot rect global position plus equals event relative. So event relative is the relative motion of the mouse. All right, so that works. Maybe that's good enough. Hold on. So instead of just moving around the canvas, we move around the viewport container instead. I feel like that's not exactly as expected. Maybe. It's like we're moving around the viewport container, sure. But what about the viewport container? How do we want to do zooming? I feel like I don't want to just scale up and down the canvas, because now we're mixing how we're handling stuff. And I feel like this is the same logic, right? It's like if you're just scaling the canvas up and down, you'll always gravitate towards the middle of it. Yeah. If you're scaling the canvas directly, you'll always gravitate towards the middle. So I want to mess with the rect size, but I'm not able to. I am able to do all the operations I need, more or less directly on the viewport container. I thought I would be able to mess with the size this way. All right, hold on. What if I mess with the size here? What happens if I do this, like 800? Nothing happens. Okay, good to know. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. It did get smaller. Oh, geez. How would I... How would I... Like, I could mess with the scale here, but this brings me into the same issue of now we're just scaling up one container. Oh, hold on. If we mess with the pivot offset, 450. So then if I scale by 2, so I think that makes a lot more sense. So I'll need to set the pivot offset, and then I can... Wait, why couldn't I do this on canvas? Oh, it's because I can't, because there is no pivot offset property. I would need to like manually calculate the... Oh yeah, okay. So the reason why I can't just do this on the canvas, and why the canvas will always kind of scale towards the center of the image, is because one, the canvas doesn't have a pivot offset. The sprite actually does, but I don't want to use it because you could be editing an image that is like doesn't have a midpoint, like if it's an odd size. So this image is 64 by 64, but if you had an image that was 65 by 65, like I guess I wouldn't know how it works. Then it's basically undefined behavior, which is hilarious, I suppose. Might not be the correct term per se. Alright, but we don't need zoom increments anymore. We just need the initial viewport size, just in case we want to go back. Viewport container. Rect size. Probably don't want to do anything with that. Zoom increment, also probably don't want to do anything like that. What we want to do is modify the scale. So let's just do boom boom. I'm not using zoom increment anymore, but this will be viewport container scale plus equals, I don't know, like this will just be the standard increment I'll be using. So 0.1, 0.1. Kind of a wimpy zoom in, zoom out, but that's all right. See, initial viewports. I probably don't need to cache the initial viewport size then, huh? I only need to like set the pivot points on the viewport or the viewport container. So the viewport container rect pivot offset is equal to like the actual viewport size divided by 2. So we won't use the initial pivot or the initial viewport size at all. In fact, that's something that we'll actually want to recalculate every time the window size changes. Yeah, this is tough. Oh god, okay. Invalid get index scale. Oh, that's true. Rect scale. Forgot. Controls don't use the normal terminology. Alright. Vector 2. Boom. We'll want to cache this somewhere else instead of just creating a new vector 2 every single time, but we'll get around to that. At least I think that's how it works in an interpreted language like this. Oh god. What happened? What? Kind of like freaked out. Oh? So what's happening here? Rect global position. So we're able to move it around when we don't scale it up or down. Oh. Oh. I see. So we'll need to also... It's the scale is messing with the positioning. So we'll need to multiply by the rect scale, I suppose. So when we zoom out, we will have less effect, I guess. 1-to-1 is fine. Oh, geez. Or do we want to divide by the rect scale? So like when it's 1-to-1, it has almost no effects, but when we zoom in, no. Plus event relative. It's like I do want to mess with the, see, You fix one thing and it breaks like 10 other things. I could just mess with the global position. Like the global position of the canvas doesn't bother me. That might be easier. Okay, I guess this is all right. I guess that's all right. We can still divide by rect scale, I suppose. Or multiply by rect scale. Do we want to divide or multiply by the rect scale? I think we want to divide. I think this is good. So now we're always zooming in on the middle. Yeah, that's not bad. That actually feels a lot better than always zooming in on the middle of the canvas. So now we basically have implemented a double pivot system, even though we don't have a camera. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, cool, cool. So let's modify some stuff. So this is the initial canvas scale. I don't think we necessarily want to do anything about that. We should have like a const zoom increment, which will be a vector 2. I guess we can just do this, right? Because it's obvious. Vector 2. One of these. So we'll just pre-calculate or pre-construct this and then just pass in the zoom increments. Hello, Rose Ninja. Are we having a gaming developer in his natural environment? I'm not really making a game right now, unfortunately, but I can tell you, I am participating in. It's not really a game jam, it's the Godot Add-on Jam. So I've already submitted one thing. It seems to have slipped under the radar, as a lot of my tools seem to do. So Godot add-ons are a huge pain to work with, right? Because if you ever start a new project, you'll have to copy all of the add-ons that you want into your new project, and then, you know, if you have like a certain template that you want to use, you also need to, you know, work with that, you know, copy all the necessary things into your new project, etc., etc. So what I have done is created a little project manager tool. It looks a lot like the built-in Godot tool, except you can, you know, create a new project, select a template, and then, you know, create the project. It'll inject everything that you need into it, and then you can also start a project just from this screen as well. Lots of config options, etc. How nice. It's like a project manager for power users. So it's what I've been using. I always wonder how they differ to apps, or if they are the same. I know very little. Add-ons are like editor-only tools. So like this is what I've been working on. A pixel art editor for, you know, editing pixel art from within Godot. So it's actually meant to work like the game maker pixel art editor. So check this out. Wow. See, this is the built-in icon, and then we can, oh no, I've broken something. I've broken something. Hold on, give me a sec. It used to work. No longer able to handle input. That's good. That's fantastic. Give me a reload. Oh geez, and we're not getting any logs either. That's a good sign. I'm not getting any logs. Is it intercepting my input somewhere? Let's see. Let's just print out my position, I suppose. So viewport get mouse position. This used to work. This used to work. I'm trying to refactor how the zoom function works, because since it's an in editor, or it's meant to work inside of the editor, it's not going to work as expected. Oh no. Oh, I see. Whenever you zoom in, oh, I need to scale the mouse position by the zoom amount. Yeah, this is basically like building tools to help game developers make more games. Because I think that one of Godot's bigger problems is that it's newer, so there's just not as many tools for it. This is something that I think lots of people think exists, but like no one actually uses it because it doesn't actually exist, which is a pixel art editor. Because it's hard to make work in Godot. Zooming breaks a lot? Yeah, it does. So like I had a previous implementation that would just, so we have like a canvas, right? The idea of a canvas, and I was just zooming in and out of the canvas. Because it's running inside of the editor, I cannot use a camera node, which would handle a lot of the zooming issues for me. Right, because when we run things inside of the editor, lots of things work differently, which is why this is tough. So there's a lot more limitations, which is why I guess there isn't a pixel art editor right now. Let's see, is this what I want? Or at least I know it's broken right now, so let's see. So we can draw way out here. So if I zoom in, okay, cool. So I needed to scale my input. Okay, so this is the idea. He says as he keeps delaying showing it off. Hold on. Rect scale. Let's scale this up by initial canvas scale times what is it called? Some sort of increments. Increment, zoom increment, yeah. Not this one. This one. So the idea is, in conjunction with my project manager tool, right? This thing here. So you would have friendly potato pixels, which is the name of this project. You would create a new project and be like, all right, I'll include this plugin, create, you know, add it to a valid folder, then we'll create edit, and then you'll just have this tool available as if it was a built-in tool thingy, right? So it brings you here. Wow, you can still draw. You can do stuff. You have a toolbar just on the right here. How cool, right? Also, it completely disrespects other parts of the editor, so you can draw through it, which is interesting. That's a new bug. But it only disrespects the left side. It doesn't disrespect the right side. That's weird. That is very strange. Like you can draw through it. Huh. Huh. Yeah, look at that. It's going through like editor panels. But anyways, yeah, that's the idea. So we have something working right now. What would you use it for? So if you need to, you know, if you're just prototyping sprites, I guess, or if you're actually working on a very simple game, very simple sprite stuff, I think that's where this would stand out. Right, if you're making like, you know, like I need a placeholder sprite really quickly, you know, usually, you know, you would have to open up your external tool, create a new thingy, etc. Right? But instead of that, you have the convenience of just opening up the pixel art editor. Because the pixel art editor, I've set it so it doesn't run anymore when it's just in the background, so It takes up pretty much no processing time. You know, I guess it does load a bit extra memory, but yeah, then you'll just be able to create new stuff on the fly, all inside the same program. Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts about using GameMaker, actually, was the fact that GameMaker came with a built-in pixel art editor as well. So you can do, I don't know, stuff like this. How neat. Yeah. So that's the value proposition. It is breaking a lot. It does break a lot of the panels now. Now that I'm not actually doing zoom based off of the canvas. Maybe I can still... Maybe I only zoom the container, but when I move stuff around, I actually move... No, I am just moving the canvas. Oh, that's weird. I feel like I didn't have this problem before, but maybe not. Maybe this is fine. Yeah, this tool is not yet open source. We'll open source it eventually. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, so, and also another neat thing about this is that it just works standalone as well. So a lot of plugins, the problem with them is that they don't work separate from the editor. But I have actually specifically designed for that possibility. Now, why would you want to use this over another sprite editing program? I'm not sure, but it's just nice. When starting as a plugin, prevent race condition on startup. Okay. Let's see. Adding some comments just so I don't forget. Zooming is handled by the viewport container. Positioning is handled by the canvas. Yeah. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's push that. I think that's a... That's good. It's good for now. Actually, what did we change for git diff add-ons? Friendly potato pixels main text scene. Oh, it's just the mouse filter stuff. I guess pass is fine. Yeah, it's all right. We might as well capture some inputs. What happens if I set this to stop? So that's okay. Still be able to zoom. And then this also keeps working inside of the editor as well. When we start zooming in outside of the bounds. Okay, cool. Yeah. And yet another thing that's neat about this plugin and all the other plugins I'm planning on making. So this is like the biggest one. I have another idea for just like a, yeah, you know, like the to-do apps that are more or less like everywhere on iOS and Android. And then there's like the RPG to-do app. So like they kind of gamified like clearing to-dos, making to-dos. What if it was like a game dev RPG? So it's just a little thing. I'm able to hook into this code editor and also just all other aspects of the editor. So it's like, all right, like every word you type gives you EXP. Every time you export your project, you get like a thing or whatever. whenever you create a new file, you get like a new item. So it's supposed to kind of gamify game development. Some people like, you know, extrinsic rewards like that, where extrinsic rewards are like actual things that you receive for doing an action, whereas an intrinsic reward is like you do this, you know, because it's, you know, you feel like it makes you a better person or whatever, you know. There's definitely like 2 types of people, maybe 3 types of people. Some people who don't get any satisfaction out of doing a job whatsoever. I fall into like the intrinsic reward. Like I just do things. Why? I don't know. I thought it'd be cool. I don't do things like in exchange for a reward. I mean, I will, of course, but most of the stuff I do for my free time is just because like I thought it'd be cool. So that's the thing I want to work on after this. This is just supposed to be a very basic sprite editor. Maybe help on one of the ones who needs that. And it, like the RPG thing, so like every word you type, you get a little bit of EXP. It's like game dev, like simulator, but for real, right? Is that kind of what you're asking for? I thought that would be cool. It's like the most productive type of incremental game, if you will. I'm surprised no one has come up with the idea yet, actually. I'm not sure there's any like program out there. I feel like it'd also be kind of hard to track as well, but I think a lot of people who make tools for Godot don't tend to be the most technically competent, which is fair. Can't learn from YouTube, I get bored. Oh, like the extrinsic reward thing, right? Change how zooming works. Been trying to code for 10 years. Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. You know, it's definitely not for everyone, for sure. Or maybe it's just like how you learn, right? There's a million different things that can impact how you, like, I don't know, like just approach things. Let's see. What was I doing after this? Oh, the difference between pencil and smart brush. Let's see. I don't really have any notable insight on like learning how to do stuff. As mentioned before, if I find it interesting, I'll learn how to do it. Not giving it, just haven't found the right learning method. Yeah. I don't know. For me, I found that the best learning method is just to find something that I'm interested in. If I'm interested in it, I will naturally try to learn more about it. If I'm not interested in it, you know, then who cares, right? So like I was interested in how, you know, how like a lot of these VTuber programs worked, but they tended to be like super over engineered, which is fair now that I've actually created my own. Okay, now I understand why they're all super over engineered, you know? And now I'm like, I like making tools. It's really quick. And then this is a feature that I really liked from another engine, therefore I'm gonna build it. Mostly for myself, really. You know, you should build things for yourself first, and then if you happen to become successful from it, then, you know, that's the cherry on top. That's how I try to approach most things. It's odd how I know how it all works, can read it. My fiance is a program I help with this code. I can't write it. I'm dyslexic, so writing is my weakness. I retained all the knowledge. Fair enough. Fair enough. Doesn't dyslexia also mess with your reading ability though? I'm not sure. Can't say if I'm dyslexic or not. I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I know I have a different approach to reading from most people, but I don't think that makes me qualified to talk about it. But I thought dyslexia was like you struggle with just recognizing characters, right? Or like recognizing words when put in a certain sequence, which is like writing in general, is characters put into a certain sequence, right? So like, wouldn't it make your reading and writing ability like... It's like, I have 400 books but I can't spell. Okay. I guess. Like I struggle with reading things if they're just like a bunch of things in sequence, but what I'll do is I'll look at a sentence twice. Once to just kind of like look for the nouns and the verbs, and then another once over just to like put them all together. And then after that, I'm pretty good on the putting words into sequence part. Which is also how I'm able to speed read as well. So I'll look at a paragraph and then just kind of like kind of try to feel out what it's supposed to be. And if I need to actually look at it line by line, I'll get really confused. Which is why I was very bad at school. Alright, so I know that there are, by the way, Godot implementations of brushes. So that's another thing I need to do is work on brush sizing, because as you can see here, yeah, I by the way, I think if you aren't able to put words together well, not to like, I was listening to the conversation, I am trying to keep myself moving though, but I think the ability to put things into sequence well is one of the more important parts about programming. Yeah, so you might run into some issues if you're not able to do that well. I think like it's one of the things I always use as an example is that like if you're able to write like a US high school 5-paragraph essay, if you're able to do that pretty well, then programming will be pretty easy. If you're not able to do that well, then you're going to have a bad time. But that's actually why I think a lot of people are. Programming isn't as hard as a lot of people think. Because I think at least most people understand the structure of a 5-paragraph essay. That might be like an Americanism though, but yeah, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, at least I know for sure that at least in like China and whatever, they don't write 5-paragraph essays. They write, where a 5-paragraph essay is that you have a, you have your intro, you have your ending, and then you have 3 paragraphs of, whatchamacallit, these are my 3 points, and that's what a 3-paragraph essay is. Whereas in China, like CCP China, you would, of course, have your introduction, then you have your build-up, but you're not actually making points, I guess, and then you have your, you basically just you build up to your very final points, I think, and then there's not really like an ending. That's what I understand, like the Chinese essay style is. But if you can master like the structured essay writing style, I think programming should be fine. Because that's what a program, right, is. It's like it's in the name. It's program. Structured. Exactly, it can be if you read, you can't write. If you're good at math, you can't write. If you can write, you have no math skills. That's what I've encountered. Is it? Or is that just for like people with dyslexia? Like, I think I'm pretty good at math. I just struggle a lot with processing numbers. I don't handle any numbers. Anything that has to do with like a lot of numbers, like for example, this lip syncing thing. So it more or less works. I got one of the operators mixed up. So it's actually lip syncing to the opposite vowel, I think, which is neat. But like I'm very good at algebra. We'll say that. That was one of the saving graces for me in upper level math. It's like when I took multivariable calculus, failed every exam, studied really hard, chugged a bunch of caffeine before the final, managed to squeak out like a C-, because I got over 100 on the final for that. You know, then took math stats or upper level statistics, which is just, you know, your base, you know, stat 1000 that everyone needs to take, except you don't get the calculator, you only get the 4-function calculator. So now you need to do everything by hand. And I was like, oh god. It's actually very easy since there's only like 5 numbers you need to keep track of. Everything else is just all variables. So that was very good at that. But, you know, trigonometry, I'm horrible at it. I don't understand. There's 2 pi, it's 2 radians, or yeah, there's 2 radians in every circle, which adds up to 2 pi, question mark. And then you need to keep track of like, all right, now it's pi over 2, pi over 16 if you want to step in like a certain angle. I don't know. I can't do that. But anything that's all variables, which is pretty much what this is, right? There's almost no actual numbers besides like dividing by 2, which is nice. And I understand algebra before my whole class. It's easy. I don't understand how people find it hard. Well, I think the ability to abstract out information is something that lots of people struggle with until you, I guess just figure it out, right? Like it's like the same thing as like if I said like I went to Europe and I saw a brown bear. I'd be like, all right. Now I ask you, if you went to Europe and you saw a bear, what color was it? Or what color would it probably be? You know, you would be able to abstract that out and say it would probably be a brown bear. But I think if you weren't taught to abstract out information, you would say, I don't know. I would need to see the bear first before I could tell you what color it would probably be. So what? You know? It's a learned skill, unfortunately for a lot of people, is the ability to, you know, here's some information that happened before, here's information that may happen in the future. Do they correlate? Yes or no? I don't know. Let's see. By the way, the reason why I keep coming back to this is because, as you can see, when we increase the brush size by an even amount, we only need to find the left-hand corner. And then I need to figure out the algorithm, which is what I'm struggling with right now. Because like when brush size 1, that's easy. It's just the pixel, which I can show off here, right? Is that we're currently just at a brush size of 1. So 1 pixel is, you know, boop, there is 1 pixel. But what I'm trying to figure out is brush size 2, sure. We go up 1, so 2 divided by 2 is 1, right? And then, you know, size 4 divided by 2, 2. So we go up to this, you know, up 1, up 2, left 1, left 2. And then from that point, we go 1, 2, right? Over, and then that's our square. And then we fill in everything inside of that square. Oh, actually, yeah, that's the algorithm. He's done it. I do math odd. I say I'm doing food math or time math when working things out. I see it differently. Yeah, I know that at least if you're, I don't know if you're American or not, but I think I think I actually do math according to Common Core, which is like when you're doing math in your head, you know, when you're saying like if you're doing like a what's it like a 22 to like 22 times like 160, that's actually a bit complicated for me to do in my head, but you get the similar ideas that what you're supposed to do in Common Core is you simplify out the numbers, so you kind of deconstruct everything. So like 22 becomes 20 and 2. Like 160 becomes 160, and then you'll just multiply those together individually because it's just easier to keep track of. Whereas I think, at least in my generation, which would be like the 2000s to early 2010s, you know, you're just supposed to imagine the equation and do it number by number. I don't know, time math, I can't do it. Because time math is all modulo, right? So you need to keep track of how many times that modulo is basically like taking the remainder over and over again. Or not over and over again, it's just the remainder once. So here's the question. Boom, boom. We do all of that stuff. How do I write that into here? I think this, oh, I did figure this out already. Oh yeah, I did this on Sunday. Yeah. All right, so if we are doing this odd, or like an odd increments, right? I think I have the equation for, yeah, even, which is offset to the, this is the top right, what? Yes, it's offset to the bottom right-hand corner. That is technically correct. Let's see. Yeah, I'm probably not qualified to talk about math stuff, considering that I almost unilaterally like do pretty poorly in any number-related thing. My reading and writing scores are pretty good though. Pretty good when I was taking the practice GMATs and GREs and all that, which are the post-grad education exams that you need to take if you want to apply to grad school in the US. I think I only got like 1 or 2 wrong out of like the 50 or so questions on the practice exam. Whereas on the math, which would put me in like I think the range is like 800 to 1600 for whatever reason. So I got put in like 15 something, which is really high. That's like Harvard grad school level. I think you need to be in like the top. It's like 1550 and higher. It's been a while since I've done the grad school stuff. So if I actually studied for the exam, I could probably do really well. But on the math score, I got like a 1000, which means I got more than half wrong on all the math questions. Oh, hello, Kalame321. Kalami? Kalame? Hello, hello. Is that like a... Hello there. Oh, hello there, General Kenobi. Is that a Star Wars? Hello, how was your stream? Thank you very much for the raid. I'm working on this thing right here. So this is a plugin for Godot. Check this out. Wow, pixel arts. So you're able to load in an image, or the idea is that you'd be able to load in an image and then just draw on it and then save it back to your project. And then this will all work inside the editor, so you have your palettes here so you can change colors. And then here's where I'm planning on having the menu. It's just, you know, on the bottom bar. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I think also, that's pretty much it, right? I also created a project manager tool so that if you just use this tool instead of the built-in project manager for Godot, you'll be able to create a new project with plugins preloaded and all that. So it makes it a lot less painful to move from project to project. You'll be able to just inject plugins into each one of your projects. So you can have an add plugin button. Here are your registered plugins with the program, and then this will just inject it into the add-ons folder. Yeah, so it's a lot of dev tooling. People don't like making dev tooling. They would rather make standalone apps, which, guess what? This also works as a standalone app. Wow. Converts 1-to-1. Because I check to see if we're running as a plugin or not. If we're not running as a plugin, I just initialize things a bit differently. My little brother's taking his practice exam now. I do not envy him. Yeah, I hate taking exams. Hate taking exams. That's why I'm done with school. I'd rather just work on actual stuff. Yeah, but let's see. I need to figure out the algorithm for odd number increments. I think I know the algorithm for even number increments. So if you have pixel size 1, that's easy. Pixel size 2 and 4, that's easy. Pixel size 3. I guess we'll just modulo by 20, or not, modulo by 2 every single time. And then we'll get the remainder. So this is 5. 5 modulo. No, that doesn't make any sense. 5 modulo. We don't want a modulo. I think if we just do I need something that'll work for every single pixel size, which is what I'm struggling with. So this is 6. What is 7? 7, boom, boom. 7 is censored like that. Doing all this in my head is freaking me out. So 7. I suppose I can do like half 7. So the floor value of half of 7. The floor value of half of 5. So half of 5 is 2.5. And then we floor it to 2. Half of 3 is 1.5. Floor it to 1. Where flooring means that we round down as opposed to up. Yeah, that'll work. So if size is equal to 0, then that's easy. We'll just append the points. Otherwise, we'll do var top left is equal to vector 2, so it'll be the current brush size. It'll be the floor of the hold on. It'll be the floor value, and then this is all in relation to the origin, right? So we always assume that we're at 0, 0. So we're trying to calculate this value first. Actually, if we're trying to calculate that value first, then this is actually wrong. Yeah, actually, this is wrong as well. What the heck? I'm looking at this calculation one more time. And another thing is I'm trying to avoid looking at an existing implementation as well, since there are things, I know that there are things like Pixelorama. This is a free and open source sprite editor written in Godot. So like I have used this before. And since it's also written with Godot and in GD scripts, in theory, it should be pretty easy for me to just look at what they're doing. But I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to credit them. And I have a bit too many I guess, too much respect for my own work to compromise my values by just looking at their implementation. And also, they've structured their data in kind of a weird way, so I don't want to look at it. Instead, what I'm doing is that I have the concept of a tool. So there's the canvas, the tool. Tool gives me a blit, where blit is kind of a term for, you know, showing something on screen. And then given this blit, then we'll run through all the blit values, and then that's when we actually draw it to the screen. But because we have this intermediate blit value, we can also do like, I don't know, just more transformations on it. So if we want to, you know, you have like a scatter brush or something. So you'll have your initial brush size like this, and then we can scatter it afterwards. That's the idea. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, then maybe I'll want to do this on base brush instead. Or maybe this doesn't always apply to all brushes. Yeah, I suppose. We'll think about it. We'll structure when we need to. So top left, this will be the floor of size divided by 2. Yeah. Similarly, I guess we don't need to recalculate every single time. So this is floored size, or h floored size, which is just floor size divided by 2, right? There you have it. H floored size, and then this one is h floor size, right? I feel like that's not... I feel like that's not actually the top left. I feel like this is the top right. I've offset this by accident to the top right. I have 100% offset this to the top right. So this needs to be negative divided by 2, negative 2, or negative size, and then everything else works off of top left though, so that should be fine. I think. Yeah, that should be okay. Or no, because this gives me... Actually, yeah, I can just do like a negative vector too. Right? Because when you're talking about drawing things on screen, in Godot terms, when you're, you know, working in 2D, this is actually, this position here is -1, negative, or this position here is -1, -1, right? This red square on the 2. Right, because you start drawing from the top left down. So, assuming that the gold square is our origin, this would be -1, -1. So I should be, this is correct. We want the negative vector 2. Floored size, top left, this will still be correct. And then var top right is equal to a vector 2, top left, hold on, thinking. Top left x plus h floored size. Is that correct? Hold on. No. No. Oh, it's just size, right? It's just the size -1. And then this is top left. Why? So this is the same value for the calculation for right, left, bottom, right. Is that correct? Hold on. Need to think. So this is size 4, right? Given a top left, 4 minus 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is size 5. Size 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So these calculations are all the same. Interesting. We just need to calculate the top left size first. That's the only difference between even and odd values. Okay. So half. So this is H size, or I guess it's not really H size, it's half size. H size almost implies like a horizontal. That's usually what you would use H for, not half. So if you want to do half something, I think you need to spell it out all the way, which is tough. Half floored size, just so we don't have too many equations going on. We're storing everything in variables as much as we can. And then what now from here? These are all the sizes. I think these are all correct, which means I should probably have a helper function for this, but we'll get around to that. We'll get around to it. Now I want to fill in the rest of the points. Now I need to fill, maybe I just need to calculate like the top left size and the bottom right, and then I can just iterate over every single value. You know what? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. So that's our X value. So that's our bottom right. Bottom left is this value. And then we don't need to calculate top right or top other thing, right? We just need to have our top left value and our bottom right value. Now we have, let's color code this once more. So now we are always calculating these values here. We don't really care about the midpoints, I suppose. Yeah, because the midpoint, that's just our pivot point, but we'll we'll figure that out. That's not for the brush to worry about. The brush doesn't care about the pivot point. But now we do for X, or not me, for X in for X in thinking for X in range top left X to bottom right X, and then for Y in range top left Y to bottom right Y. Yeah, okay. I think that makes sense. Then our data appends, and then we need to append a vector too, created from that X and Y value. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it when a plan comes together. And now that's our blit. So our default blit thingy should be the pencil. Yeah, so we always load in the pencil. So here we get a blit. Given a blit, we'll do these operations here. So let's comment this stuff out. Given a blit, the blit has a data. Blit is basically just a struct. We could also just do this with a raw pool vector 2 array, but we're not going to do that just yet. Because I'm envisioning that we'll have other functions on there for like transforming the blit data. So what if we don't want to just have like a square? What if we want to draw like a circle? Then that's what we would want. Maybe the brush should be doing that, but I don't know. I like having the separation, okay? Let's see. For pause, or for vec in blit data, you might notice that I'm not using like actual class names either, because if you want to have this work inside the editor, you cannot have too many classes. Otherwise, it might conflict with you know, the actual game that you're making, because they exist in the same like namespace, which can be tough. For vec in blit data, then we'll do image set pixel. Suppose it'll be set pixel v vec and then primary color, something like that. So given that we have a brush size of 1, give that a save. We'll go back to Godot now. So, and then we don't need to run it as a plugin, we just run it like this. Okay, well, I thought it'd be okay, maybe not. Where did I go wrong? Set pixel, blit data, primary color. Let's just print out the vec. Prints. What vector did I get? Since this is size 1. Oh, this is just not giving me anything at all. Ooh. So this is giving me a position. I guess this isn't giving me anything at all, huh? So prints position, just to make sure that we even get to this point. So we are getting to this point, but we're not printing anything inside the data thing, because all right, maybe if size equals 1. We should draw at least once. No, why? Why is this? So this should be correct, right? Our data append this position where data is just a pool vector 2 array, and then we'll just run over every single point individually. But we're not able to do any of that because, let's see. So this is the raw position. And then I guess we'll want to string this. Yeah, so these are all just raw positions, and I'm doing this in like the worst way possible. Okay, so there's your raw position. Fortunately, it does not change when you zoom in as well, which is nice, but we're not setting anything because there's nothing in the blit data. So I guess we can just set a breakpoint here. I don't need to though. I know why this is happening, right? Like this is our blit. We can look at our blit. Our blit has nothing inside of it. Yeah. And then if I draw outside of the canvas, nothing happens because I filtered that out here, right? So you don't want to draw outside the canvas. Otherwise, like, nothing will happen, I suppose. Or things will start breaking. Why am I not writing anything to here? So that should be like a pencil object, right? What do I have loaded in on main? Main should be brush, yeah. Base brush, yeah, yes. But this is using pencil GD. So the reason why this is not working is because it's not because of base brush, is it? Like we absolutely should not be doing this. Like this is unreachable, basically. So add a print there. Yeah, okay, so we're not hitting that part. Which means that we're hitting one of these. We should be hitting this one. Give it the classic print. Yeah. Ha ha ha. So we are appending it. We are hitting this code path here. Guaranteed. Let's hit it with another print, like R data. So we'll just force a 2-string. Ooh. Okay. So there's nothing inside of it, even though we're definitely appending it here, right? R data. Interesting. Why am I not able to append to this data point? So blit, this has a pool vector 2 array inside of it. Maybe, is that a bug? I don't know. Still empty. It's not the same blit because we're creating a new one every single time. We could always change it, right? Like it doesn't have to be a pool vector 2 array. It could just be like a regular array that will get destroyed at some points, and then that should hopefully, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Maybe because it's a, no, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I don't really have an answer, yeah. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But sure. Why not? I think this will work now, at the very least. Now we can also hit it with a blit free. So we're just going for maximum efficiency, if you will. Let's see, this needs to be object. This one is now object. How nice. Oh. Object. This one is technically wrong as well. This is some sort of object. Alright, so that shouldn't... Yeah, we should never ever call this one on base brush. This is basically just like an interface, if you will. As in, like, nothing should happen. Unfortunately, Godot does not have interfaces. It only has abstract classes, which we can make work. We can make it work, for sure. All right, send me one more time. All right, look at that. So what if we increase the size of it to 2? We should see the fancy logic start kicking in now. Nope. Nope. What's going on here? So size divided by 2 is 0. Oh, it's because I'm not setting it on the brush. Okay. Yeah. Brush size is equal to size. Oh, brush size is equal to brush size. Sorry. So that's like a to-do. This is like testing only. This is not where we want it to apply. Oop, -1. Pixel index -1, it's outside of the bounds. All right, hold on. I am passing the actual position here. So what we can do is plus position. So these are all just plus positions. So we kind of construct a new vector tube in addition to this offset position. still wrong. Oh, actually, no. It's kind of correct. Boom. Boom. Yeah, that's right. Or at least it's giving me the... It's giving me the top left. Oh, because these aren't inclusive. Okay. So, right. We're very slowly figuring it out. Okay. So all of these need to be +1. So they include the bounds. All right, so now we have size 2. That's looking pretty good. I'll need to build in a thing to the toolbar. So toolbar is over here, toolbar. So like a size scroll thingy. So you can dynamically adjust it from the UI as opposed to me just kind of messing with the numbers here. So size 4, that looks pretty good. Right, size 5, or let's do size 3 because that's the first odd number. This one should look like this. Yeah, it's beautiful. He's gotten it working. It's just that easy. Only took like a million hours of me to, not a million hours. It took me about an hour and a half of just banging my head against the wall. But I think this design makes sense. So we pass in the position object, then we have an intermediate blit, and then what we would want to do is, you know, to do additional blit operations. And then here is when we actually apply the data. So what I'm envisioning is, I guess this is more for like a real heavy duty brush engine. So like a Krita or something, is that you would have like, you know, like a scatter function, or like you would do something like a smudge, I guess. That's what you would use an intermediate thing like that for, as opposed to just returning like an array every single time of points. I might be getting too fancy with it. Might be getting too fancy with it. Let's start messing with the toolbar. So toolbar, you'll have your various options, as well as I don't know, just like your regular options, I suppose. So pencil, smart brush, these don't do anything. Where would you put tools? Where would you put tools? And also on standalone mode, I need to remember this is something I need to do as well. So this is 2D. Oh geez, what the heck? What was that? So this should stretch. Oh, actually, no, this should not stretch, because now it's slightly broken. Bring it back to viewports. Yeah, what I was trying to avoid using viewport for is that you can see like or you might be able to see, I'm not sure, but like the UI is now a little pixelated, which is strange. And also, we are now super off-centered. Or actually, it's not off-center, but we're not able to draw anymore in this mode. Ooh. Or is it when I click on this? Yeah? Why did I lose input for a little bit here? So I click on this, we still have input. Click on this, we still have input. Oh, it's because when I resize the window, it breaks. Yes, because I need to recalculate the window size. So if we are doing this stuff. All right, so this is like connect. It's one of these. Size flags? No, it's or is it like get tree connect? Get tree connect. It's one of these things. I've done this a few times. Is it get tree root connect? Like the root node. Size changed. Is it size changed? Don't I have just access to that on the scene tree as well? No? Screen resized. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Screen resized. Self. And then this must happen in this thing here. So on screen resized. Screen resized. So I actually, this is something I'll want to do in both of these, because I'm pretty sure if I enable the plugin and then mess with the screen size in the editor, it'll also break. Yeah, so I think this is something we'll always want. Screen resized. Now, what are we doing on screen resized? That's a good question. Let's try and figure it out. Func on screen resized. Screen resized. Screen resized. Oh, okay. It just gives us nothing at all. How nice. Let's see. We need to do all of this stuff. So just copy and paste all of this into here. Look at that. We'll just use the same control, so we'll just call this manually. Like so. Just kind of assume that we like manually resize ourselves. I think this should still work if we do it like right after as well. Yeah, so like draw, 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 we can zoom and draw, we can resize. Ooh, that's not right. Ooh, hold on. Hold on. That's still correct. Now it's offset. And I'm assuming I'll run into the same problem here as well. So we'll be able to load this in, right? Draw, draw, draw. But then once I make this really tiny, then once I also find it again as well. Where'd you go? Oh, this is still fine. What the heck? That's weird. Yeah, like this is okay. Why is this not working? Ooh. Where is it? I'll find you. I have no idea. Yeah, so this still works in editor. It's only when you start this for realsies does it break. It's interesting. I wonder if it's because of the viewport scaling I'm doing. Maybe I shouldn't be doing any viewport scaling at all. So like this is just ignore aspect, 2D mode. So that's okay. Nope. Maybe not even 2D mode. This is just 3D mode. So now it's not actually, it's technically no longer pixel perfect, but it'll scale properly. All right, well, all right. It's good enough. All right, toolbar. So we'll have tool settings, we'll have color picker. I think we'll just put everything on the toolbar. That makes sense to me. Let's see. I think we'll want another VBox for like tool size. So this is like size container, right? And then we'll have HBox. An HBox container that contains a label. We'll put fill expand. This will be called tool size. Put its line edit here. Expand, so they'll take up basically half space, right? And then this will need to be set to the initial value, which I think we're just going to make it 1. I don't know. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. And then below this needs to have, I need to sneeze. Needs to have some sort of slider. Yeah, slider. Yeah, okay. Cool. So I need to write some script stuff for that as well. That's pretty much it, yeah. So we start the toolbar here. We'll have a tool size. It's not hooked up to anything, but you know, look at that. You can scroll it left and right. Don't know what else you would want, but there you have it. Put some separators into here. So this is H separator 1. Separate out the tool stuff from the color stuff. Yeah, so now we just have a little bit of like visual delimitation. How nice. So toolbar. Oh, there is the sneeze. Ugh. Been very sneezy. I should probably vacuum more. Let's see, there's our line edits. So this is onReady var. This is our size line edit. And onReady var size h slider, aka a horizontal slider. So h slider, yeah. And I'm trying to keep everything like concentrated in just the main function, just so it's easier to keep track of where everything is. I'm not sure if that's a good idea anymore, but we'll figure it out. This is text change. I think that's what the signal is called. Let me double check. Signal, text change, text string. Gotcha. So text changed. Send it over to here. So then on size line edit, text changed. Name doesn't really matter, but since we're slapping everything into the main function anyways, might as well be specific. Boom, text string. The receiving function just needs to match the expected callback signature. H slider, let's see, H slider. Okay, regular slider. What do you got? Range. So there's changed and value changed. All right, so that's what we want. We want to connect to value changed. So size H slider, connect this thing on size H slider, value changed. Oh, wrong thing to copy. Copy this one. Now we'll just need to handle this stuff. What was it called? It was some sort of float value. So value, some sort of float. Give that a save. All right, so I need to make sure whenever we manually change the line edit text, I think I'll need to change the, no, okay, hold on. Actually a little tough. I'm rethinking my design. All right, well, ready. I think these should actually be hooked up locally, and then I'll only send events over to the main function when there are valid values, since I need to, yeah. I need to do some like a value validation beforehand, and then also change these. So if you change the slider, you should also change the line edit. So when you scroll the slider, this number should change as well. So define a signal that we can connect the main function to inside of here. It's kind of a weird system that I've come up with, but I like it. Size. It's not size changed, it's like size, brush size changed, some sort of value. Right. Then here, what we'll do is just regular connect, right? We'll connect brush size changed to node, and then on brush size changed. Yeah. I like it. I like it. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Go back to main. Here you go, on brush size changed, some sort of value. It'll always be a float value, so this simplifies a lot of stuff. Way simplifies stuff. So now all I need to do is handle this stuff here. All of this stuff. We'll then emit the signal at the very end. Emit signal, like brush size changed. So then like this will be float text, I guess. Right? So if text is valid float, and we'll want to do that. Or I actually prefer this structure more. Now, the more I work with software, the more I prefer, if not true, then we want to just early return. Right. And then similarly, we'll do, oh, and I need to make sure to change both things in lockstep. So lockstep as in like at the same time. So we'll emit the signal, and then also size h slider dot, I think value will equal float text. So var new val will be the float, will be float text, right? And then we'll just set everything equal to new val. And then also emit new val. Then on the other hand, I think we need to define min and max sizes. Not sure where I'm gonna keep the configuration stuff. I guess we'll just like min max size like this. So const min max brush size. We'll set that equal to just a vector too. It's kind of weird, but I prefer doing things this way. I don't know. So like A 100 size brush. That's fine. Yeah, 100 size brush. If you want anything bigger, then you're absolutely insane. You know what? 1,000. 1,000. That's good enough. If not... Alright, so if new value is less than min-max brush size, or new value is greater than min-max brush size y, and we'll also early return. Yeah. So here, we'll do something similar. Well, I guess if it's not something similar, we'll just have to... The slider will never go above the min or max. So, size h slider, let's see, min value is equal to min max x, and then size h slider max value is equal to min max y. Yeah. And so when we mess with the slider, when we set the slider value, is that going to also trigger this signal? I hope it doesn't. Slider. Is there like a set value, no signal? I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll do everything via typing for now, and then we'll see if it triggers like this print statement, like print float. Right? But I think the slider one is pretty easy. It's just emit signal, brush size changed, value. Right? Because the slider has built-in input validation, whereas the line edit does not. Oh, and then this needs to have a default value. So main, let's see, where is my testing? So brush size is equal to brush size. Might need to just have that work. Let's see, main brush size is equal to brush size. I feel like I don't want to keep that tracked here. So that's gonna break. That's good. But we can instead track that here. So brush size changed. Oh, and I made a mistake somewhere. Hold on. Yeah. So I deleted the wrong thing, but that's okay. Let's go back. So it's H slider and then this one. So this is some sort of value of a float. Then this will be whatever brush you have. Size is equal to value, right? That's pretty easy. Then we'll get rid of this testing thing. We'll get rid of this variable here. So then brush size is always controlled by the toolbar. We can then manually emit the signal just here. Brush size changed. What is it? I'm thinking. Thinking. Size. Line edit. Hold on. I guess we can just manually emit, or we can manually call one of these things. Might as well just do this, right? One. So on the same token, we'll also need to do size, line, edit, text is equal to the string of whatever value this is. Should probably be rounding this off to the nearest 1 decimal point, 1 decimal place. How do I round to a decimal place in Godot? That's a good question. How do I round to a decimal point? Or actually, no, these should not be floats. These should be rounded to integers. Yeah, what am I doing? How do I check if something is a valid integer? I guess we could just floor it, right? So floor value. Oh, hold on. Yeah. We'll take the string of the floored value. So similarly, we'll just do new value is equal to integer floor value, right? So new value, new val. And so in main, we should be expecting an integer, not a float. Because of course, when you're doing pixel art, it doesn't make any sense to pass along floats. Yeah, that makes sense. So this should actually be an integer. Yeah, and then once we set other things, then we'll need to float it. That's okay. Yeah, so we intentionally round it, lose some precision, but that's okay. Actually, this should be, we should float it first, because this slider value needs to be, no. Yes. No. Yes. Send it. I have no idea. Okay. Looks to be frozen. Okay. What happened? Oh, okay. It's because I made it too big. But if I change this, size 2, that's good. You know what? I guess let's just have like the min brush size, and then we can figure out the max brush size based off of the yeah, we can figure out the max brush size based off of the size of the image, basically. So min, max, min brush size, some sort of integer 1, right? Get rid of min max. I think we just need to manually calculate the max brush size, max brush size, or we need to be manually told the max brush size. So it'll be 1 for now. Boom, boom. Max value, max brush size for now. And then we'll set max brush size dynamically. That's the idea. So that should be okay, right? Yeah. Oh. Min brush size. Then here, let's see, we should have an image just on here, the thing that's actually being drawn to, the image. Yeah. So max brush size is equal to image dot so this is node image. How do I get the min max of it? Get width or get height? That's actually a bit tough. I want the greater of the two options. So max node image get width node image gets height. That might be a bit confusing, because now it's possible to run into race conditions. So now the order of operations that you load things in matters. So you always need to load in the image first and then register the, oh. Okay. I see. Let's add a note. Because I'm gonna 100% get confused. So order of initialization. Initialization is very important. Must follow. Let's see. Plugin. Toolbar. Well, it's not toolbar, but it's like plugin. Wait for toolbar. Image. Well, wait for toolbar to instance, I suppose. Image and then toolbar. Yeah, okay. That should hold me over for at least a little bit. Alright, that's actually still wrong though. Because... why is that wrong? Why is that wrong? Print max brush size. Sure. 64, yeah. Oh, and then I need to re-register it with the slider. Yeah, okay. Okay, there we go. So now we have brush size of up to 64. I do need to make sure that we don't accidentally draw out of bounds, because I think if you do this, then you'll run, whoops, start running into debugger errors. I think this is just, oh god. Oh, I see why it was lagging before. Oh, that is super slow. Look at that lag. So like, okay, so like one Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. It's like roughly 2.5 seconds to draw 64 pixels onto the screen. That's pretty bad. Well, I think part of it is because it's like it's also desperately trying to handle the errors. Let's think. Like like it looks like for smaller images, as long as you're not drawing outside of the lines, it seems to be pretty efficient. But it's like whenever you draw outside, the error handling kicks in, and then you hit it, like you run into performance losses. It's interesting. What if we do, like I think what makes sense is that I also push like an actual image object into here. So var image, we won't actually use it, but then these things will need to accept this parameter. Boom, boom. Smart brush will also need this for now. So this image, yeah, we can use this for like comparison's sake. Then main, you will need to, where is it? just pass in the image. Just a reference to the image. The image isn't actually used because we're just constructing the blit for now. Let's see, if top left, or I guess if x is less than 0, or it's going to be a long if statement chain, or x is greater than image get with. Suppose we'll want to do var image with image get with var image height. Yeah, so we'll want to abstract most of this out somewhere else, but we'll figure it out later. Or this. Oh, hold on, I've done this wrong. Or this, or, oh, okay. If x is less than 0, or x is greater than image width, y is less than 0, or y is greater than image height, then just continue. Can I just put this on one line? Or if I just wrap it in parens, it should be okay. Just an ungodly abomination of an if-else check. Or an or check. Actually, we can fit this on one line, that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. We'll do the same for the lower one as well, just because I'm not getting around to abstracting this part out just yet. Not hard to do though. Alright, so there we go. We're still able to draw. And if we make the tool size like 64. Ooh, okay. Oh god. Are we still good? Set image, set pixel index p64 is out of bounds. Does it get height -1? Like all these should be -1. Oh, hello Bumdy, hello, hello. So look at this. I've gotten this working. Yeah, I think it's a little broken for sure. Oh, it's just, oh wait, hold on. Getting a lot of errors as well. And it's only taking the top left. Oh, I've done this wrong. Ooh. But I think I have a plan at least for how to approach most of this stuff now. Alright, so yeah, now it's only taking top left, and this is actually not even 3 pixels, this is actually 2 pixels wide. Alright, so the tool size is a bit too small. But I think this is the correct calculation. I need to abstract this out somehow, but let's see, we'll call this like fill square or something like that. Looks nice using set pixel, yes. It's actually like really fast unless you accidentally draw out of bounds, in which case you like run into like a million, like a really, yeah, like look at that slowdown. Like it's really fast. Like look, if you just draw like this, it's really, really fast, but as soon as you draw out of bounds and go out of index, It takes about 1 second or something like that. You lose like a ton of time. So I'm wondering, what about this if check is wrong? Like, this feels correct. So let's also abstract this out. So this is like fill array, right? Or fill square. So func like fill square. So given like a top left, given a top left, and that'll be a vector 2, and then this is the array, right? Some sort of array, right? We'll do this implicitly. So pencil, boom, boom. This logic is all the same. Slap it in here. Oh, I guess then we'll also need to pass in like max W, max H, and these will be, I think, int values. Yeah, everything is done via setPixel, so it is like already pretty fast. So I'm not worried about speed. I just need to make it more correct, because right now I think that's the biggest thing that I'm struggling with right now. So I think some of my calculations are somewhat skewed. Fill square. So this takes a position, top left. So this is our data, and then I need to grab the image, get width, image, get height. And I think these are all supposed to be -1, but I'm not sure. Imagine like brush is visible on the canvas snapped, and when you brush it sets the pixels. Yeah, I think that should be pretty easy to do. I just need to, you know, we're taking this one step at a time, right? Yeah, I'm pretty much basing my entire implementation off of how Pixel Edit works. So I know this is how Pixel Edit does it. So yeah, like I'm okay with putting that in the title, like inspired by how Pixel Edit works. So that's how Pixel Edit works. You can see where you're drawing, but not like it follows the cursor. I mean, it does follow the cursor, right? It does follow the cursor. It's snapped to the pixel because you're drawing on a separate layer, more or less. Yeah, so I'm basing everything off of how this works, basically. So this still works. When I push this up to 2, this is still broken. I'm a little curious as to why. But it looks like it's taking... Alright, so that's wrong, by the way. This needs to be -1. Also -1. And then for some reason, it's not actually giving me the correct offset values either. Why is that? Oh, because I'm not using the position at all. It needs to be... No, it should be... Oh, the initial top left value needs to be adjusted by the position. Okay. Hold on, I got it. So take out position. We don't use position at all. When we're filling a square, we automatically pass in the adjusted position here. So this is top left plus position, whereas, yeah, and then this will also be top left plus position. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be doing it from the position like slightly skewed. All right, so that's correct. 3. This is correct, right? Boom. Size 6. Ooh. No errors. Look how fast it is. Oh, baby. And then the max size is dynamically adjusted based off of what thing that you are, or I guess the image size, right? Maybe that doesn't make sense, but I don't see a rationale for, you know, why would you need like a brush size bigger than your image? That doesn't make any sense. You know, and I think if you have that need to like, oh, I need to very gently squeeze by on the side here, which I actually don't let you do, but maybe I should. Maybe I should. Actually, I can totally let you do that. Hold on. So we can take out the positioning check as well here. So this is the positioning check. We don't need this. All we need to do is pass in a position to the brush and then let the brush do the position check for me. So fill square. Let's see. Here's the position check. So given some sort of vector 2, we can, all right, yeah. So func is valid position, right? So given some x value, which must be an integer, given some y value, which is also an integer, and then given some width, also an integer, given some height, also an integer, right? This will return a Boolean. So if, basically this, right? Copy and paste, adjust the values. So this will be width, this will be height. Yes. Then if these are true, then you will return false, otherwise return true. Yeah, it is valid position. So if not, is valid position given this x, y, max w, max h value. So that should be correct still. Starting to run into more errors now. Did I do something wrong? Hold on, undo me. I thought that was correct, maybe not. Bring me back. Oh, we're okay, hold on. Oh, it's because I took out the size check, or the position check. All right, hold on. So I think this is actually still correct. Comment me out. If is valid position x, y, max, w, max, h. That's okay. Then in pencil, now we'll have access to is valid position. Always a good one. So if is valid position, given this position x, position y, image, get height, or no, get width, -1, image, get height -1, then we'll append it. Yeah, okay, so then we can draw outside. We can try to draw outside, right? But then, also, if you want to, like, have a little bit of that corner action. Oh, hold on. Running into a lot of errors now. Oh, geez. Program's crashing. That's good. Still correct. Still correct. Ooh. 100 errors. Ooh. What happened? What did I do? I've broken something like Really, really badly. Is it my valid position function? Or if not is valid position, continue. Sorry. So this still works. That still works even if we change that. This still works. And now you're also able to draw like this. Yeah. Okay, he's doing it. And then you can adjust the opacity if you want. Actually, adjusting the opacity doesn't do anything right now. All it does is just change the color. Well, we'll implement opacity at some point. Very cool, very cool. We're doing it. Yeah, so this also can just be a static function. It doesn't lead to any speed increases in Godot, but it's just easier for me to read, right? So you can assume that this static function will not be using any, you know, class variables. Are you not setting pixels with alpha? Not right now. It should be possible, but I think to set pixels with alpha, I'll need to combine them. So I guess set pixel v doesn't take into account the alpha value. I think what I would need to do is I would need to do image or var color or pix color is equal to image get pixel v. So for that given vector, and I think we'll just need to combine the color. How do you combine colors? How do you take the average of two colors? Or no, hold on. What's the max alpha value in Godot? What's the max alpha value that you can have? I guess it's 255. So it shouldn't combine. It should combine based off of your alpha value. If it's blending enabled, it should. No, I think if you have an alpha value less than... Hold on. So the max alpha value you can have is 0 to 255, which means 256 actually. Let's do like a const max alpha. That's an integer, 255. When you want to paint precise values of alpha, you can't. I mean, that's fine. I think if you want to, if you paint on an empty image, right? That's when you would want to paint a precise alpha value, right? Like that's how you do it in normal art programs as well. Is that you would just create another layer with a precise alpha value. You don't just work with one layer. And then like with how I've constructed this program, it's pretty easy to add new layers, right? Like every layer is just cells, right? Or I guess it's not cells, but it's like just a different image, I suppose. So I'm not worried about that. But not pixel art generally, but sure. Yeah, not pixel art generally, but that's okay, I don't care. You know, I think if you want to be true to pixel art, it's really easy. Just don't touch the alpha slider. You know, it's up to you. You know, if you want to use alpha, don't let me stand in your way. I'll let you do it. Well, let's see. Let's see. And actually, you know what? Actually, let's think about it. Var, well, so that's the current pixel color. Then we'll need to have a combined color, which is like the, I guess that's like the scale from, I guess, how much we should combine the two. If that makes sense. How do you blend two values together? How do you blend two values together? You add them, then, oh yeah, take the, well, that'll just give me half. How do I blend it based off the alpha? Like I want to assume that, you know, a color, right? A color is basically a, you know, RGB, or that's how I want you to imagine it. Like each color is basically a vector 3 with an RGB value. Are there functions for that in color? Blending the two? Oh, there are, yeah, blend. Yeah, there we go. Neat. Okay. There we go. But does that take into account the alpha value? Maybe. Blend pix color. I have no idea. Let's see. Nope. That's not what I want. If you use RGBA as the color input, yeah, this doesn't look right. Maybe it's pix color blended with the primary color. Maybe I'm just blending in the wrong order. You know, will it blend, etc., etc. All right, that looks okay. I was just blending in the wrong order. Then if we lighten it, ooh. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think that seems correct. Then we can also blend for like red, black. Give me black. We're back to black. Oh, interesting. Wait, no. No. Well. Oh, it's because I accidentally default everything to just the color black, right? Yeah, okay, hold on. Okay, so this is another thing I need to set from the toolbar. So toolbar. Let's see. On color changed. So I can do one of these. I can just manually emit color changed. It's a bit weird, for sure. Color black. And so this will be const default color. So if you want to make transparent pixels, you have to work for it. Yeah, well. We'll deal with that when the time comes. We'll deal with that later. All right. So still technically correct. How do I set the color of the color picker? So color, picker, color. What values do you have? What does the color picker have? Color picker. Color. Okay, so you just have a property color. Color picker. Color is equal to default color. There we go. Yeah, okay, so now this makes more sense. Boom. There is your transparent value. Oh, okay, so I think I also need to change how I do like actual input. Because you can see here that when we move, we actually get real, we get the real transparency, but if I just kind of click in one position, then we'll, you know, it's hard to get the transparency because I am running the update function inside a process. Yeah, so what I need to do is check to see if the position is different from the last one. So maybe I don't want to use this. I don't want to do this in process. Maybe I want to do this in, or maybe I want to have like a, so it blends over and over and makes it black. So yeah, well, it's applying the transparent pixel to the same position while you're drawing, right? So if your mouse doesn't move and then you just keep drawing on the same position, it'll keep applying that pixel, or it'll keep applying that color, which makes sense. So I need to abstract this out. So this is like draw, but it's not draw, it's var, or not var, func, not draw. Don't call it draw. It's basically draw, right? What do I want to call it? Call it blit. Blitting is, I feel like blitting is actually kind of a misnomer at this point, but that's okay. Yeah, so we'll want to blit. We'll call it blit. That's fine. Boom, boom, boom. Grab all of this stuff. Slap it into here. There we go. And I think what I want to do is, one, make sure this still works. So we'll just blit like that, right? So that'll still draw as expected. Gotta make sure this still works in the editor as well, since we're not just making a drawing program, we're making a drawing program that works in the editor. Look at that, wow. Make the brush bigger, wow. Okay. So that still works, we can take this out. What I think I'm going to do is we'll immediately blit once. And then if your mouse moves, then we'll also just blit once. So we'll immediately blit once, right? Yeah, we'll immediately blit once, and then if you move your mouse, we'll blit one more time, right? So we'll do like a somewhat transparent alpha here, boom. Still seems wrong. Am I? Oh, I'm still processing, hold on. Get this out of here. So we're still able to regularly draw, how nice. And I think this is actually somewhat more accurate as well. But also, look at this. Yeah. Oh, okay, look at that. So if you wiggle on one pixel, so if you just click, you get transparent, but if you move your mouse at all, it'll start applying the color, which is kind of cool, but that's not, I feel like that's not expected. I think, well, in regular art, that's expected. Like standard visual art, or digital art, yeah. In standard digital art, that's expected, right? If you just wiggle on one point, you should see, you know, the color get darker, but I think in pixel art, that's probably not what you want. So I think I need to store the last position we tried to draw at, and then we'll just need to update that. So var last pixel position, some sort of vector 2. We'll set it equal to vector 2 -1 because that is impossible to be. Well, that's impossible to be at, shall we say. So if position does not equal last pixel position, or I guess if position equals last pixel position, then we'll want to early return. Otherwise, last pixel position is equal to the new position. Yeah. So here, now, we just click here, we can wiggle on this pixel, nothing happens. but then we can wiggle to all the other ones. Yeah, okay, so there we go. Nice, 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 nice. And then if you have a bigger brush, it's less apparent. So now you actually need to, yeah, okay. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Yeah. I think I do need to make it so the toolbar does eat your input though, because right now it's not eating the input when it should. That's cool. I think if you want to have like an effect like this is like your pixel, I suppose. And also, check it out, is that you can go completely upside down as well, which is hilarious. If you just scroll out enough. Probably not what most people would expect. I think that seems like a bug. Built-in flip, yeah. I probably don't want that. But I think that's actually more or less correct. I think the rect scale might need to be adjusted. So based off of how big your thing is, right? Because I actually changed the how zooming works. So if you notice how this works now, is that we're always zooming in on the center of the screen, right? But we're still able to move as expected. And that's because now we're kind of manually adjusting, or whenever we zoom in, we're messing with the viewport container. But whenever we move the canvas, we're moving the canvas. So we have separated out the scaling and the movement. So scaling must always be on the viewport container, but I think that leads to a problem where I think if your viewport container goes into negative scale, it'll just flip itself, which is probably not expected. But I'm not sure how to get around that either. That's a bit tough. Like the built-in flip is, that's not hard, right? All you need to do is just make the scale negative and then it'll flip. But I think I mean, that's pretty good right now. That's pretty good right now. I got everything figured out. Let's see, I think I need to create a new empty tile. It'll need to be a 1x1 image with nothing inside of it. And then that's how I will do like I guess the preview sprite. So like where are you going to, you know, draw, right? That's pretty easy. I gotta think about how I'm going to do that though. That's do I want to draw it like directly on cells? Do I want to create a different like sprite entirely? I could do that as well. Or like, do I even want to, well, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Now here's the question. Is it better to create multiple sprites, or should I load everything in the sprite? Like, should I read all the sprite data, create the appropriate tiles, and then load them into a tile map? Right, right? And if I load things into a tile map, then it's really easy to just duplicate it. Or should I do everything, should I do all the drawing in the sprite, or should I do some drawing in the cells, like the tile map instead? Because right now what's happening is I'm drawing directly to the sprite. And so that's like our first layer. And I suppose if you want additional layers, then you'll just need to create additional sprites. That's more or less it. This tile map layer, the cells layer, is really only used for positioning positioning mouse clicks. You know what? I like that idea. We'll use sprites for drawing. This tile map layer will only ever be for positioning. I think that's a good separation of concerns. Git commit better drawing, or improve drawing, I suppose. I think tile map should be last resort. Yeah, I think that the tile map is already pretty good. It's doing what it's needed to do. The end you'll want everything in a texture. Yeah, that's true. Maybe. How would I do? I got to think about this now. Got to think about this. So if I have multiple sprites, like if I have multiple layers, to merge a higher layer onto a lower layer, what you would want to do, I'm thinking, is you would go through every single pixel that it has, and then you would blend it based off of your, I guess, your blend mode for your color. Or I guess the blend mode for your layer, which is pretty much the same thing, right? So it's, you have multiple blend modes. So there's blend, darkened, lightened. Actually, I don't know anything about blend mode, so we'll hold off on that. Everything will just be blend for now, and then we'll implement blend modes later if needed. I don't really know too much about blend modes. Isn't like color burn is something that you would want to make heavy use of? I remember that I saved a few Twitter tutorials on this, but I don't remember. It's linear interpolation if it's no blend. I don't know. This is good enough. That's good enough. But let's start splitting things out into just a node 2D, right? So this will be our layers, right? And then for this implementation, I'm kind of going off how paint.net does it. Blend is a different kind of interpolation, is it? I don't know. But anyways, this is how I'm planning on doing interpolation. And also this is how paint.net does it, right? So look at that. So you can turn off anti-aliasing. Wow, look at that. But then also paint.net, whenever you load in a new image, so if you open like icon.png, right? Your base layer is just the background. And I think that's what I'm going to do as well, is that this sprite will just be your base layer. And then anything over that will just be, you know, that's your layer 2. That's your layer 2. Now, I think the question is, right, so here, if we're drawing on layer 2, right, you can hide layer 2, you can show layer 2, you can also grab layer 2, move it outside, right, and then go back to drawing on layer 2. Right, are you seeing the problem now? Is that how I'm doing it right now is that you're not allowed to draw outside of the sprite. So how do I solve that? I think if I was using a tile map, that would be easier. Like for a tile map would be easier for this kind of thing, but I'm not sure what to do there. Because this you can grab and move it, and then once you move it, oh, never mind. Okay. It cuts it off. Oh. Okay. Okay. So I think any move transformations, I should actually move the sprite, right? Yeah, infinite canvas? No. I think I got it. So, like, this is the actual sprite. So in Godot terms, what I'm doing right now would be I would be moving the sprite, right? And then once I finalize the move, right? Once I finalize the move, I find all parts of the sprite that are still in bounds, right? I find all parts of the sprites that are still in bounds in terms of like the original sprite boundaries, and then I just redraw onto that layer, right? Yeah, I like it, right? Because, oh geez. So now you can do something like that. So here's the idea, is Godot terms, I move the sprite, move it out of bounds a little bit, finalize the operation. So this is finalizing it, boom. I read everything that's in bounds and then clear the layer and then redraw the entire sprite for that layer. So is it gonna be slow? Yes. Do I have a better solution? No. But I think that, I think that's what paint.net is doing as well, right? Because you see that we lose the information as soon as it goes out of bounds. So I think that that's a good approach. Is that once we finalize the movements, we just clear the layer, redraw everything a little offset. So I think we might need to have like an intermediate sprite as well to draw to. So we'll clear the original sprite. No, I'm trying to imagine this in my mind. There's a specific flow. Cropping functions, that sounds complicated. I think this makes more sense. Clipping functions, that's pretty much what this is, right? This is pretty much a manual clip, more or less. I'm just trying to imagine the flow. So this is still the original sprite. When we finalize the operation, we get everything that's still in bounds. So anything that's less than 64, less than the 64, boom. We get everything that's still in bounds, draw that onto a new sprite, clear the original image, move the original image back to being centered, and then redraw everything onto that original image. And then we discard the new temporary one. Yes, all right, I got it. That's tough. That's tough. But yeah, every single sprite will be a layer. I think that's what we're going with. Yeah. All right, so let's do this. Sprite. This will be called layer. Might as well. Why would I not want to... Why would I not want to do this? Let's think about... Also note that you may think about texture atlases maybe. Nope. Absolutely not. That's up to the developer. Well, doesn't Godot already has support for texture atlases, right? Yeah, like you just need to supply a sprite and then you can define your own texture atlas. So that's not my problem. That's not my problem. You should design your sprite sheet so that it is, you know, compatible with texture atlases. You know, I can't do everything for you. I can do most of it for you, but you know, I can do everything for you except make your game. I don't mean like that though. Well, I mean, a texture atlas is just like a sprite sheet, but like everything's not in a square. That's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much a texture atlas, is that you define which part of the sprite sheet is like the sprite. Whereas a sprite sheet generally means that like everything is tiled. And so it's easier to go from, you know, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, right? Texture atlas means that, you know, like this square is frame 1, this square might be frame 2, this square might be frame 3. That's what a texture atlas is that you jump around, right? Or you want to drain on frame 2, you can do it. Or you talk about like an onion skin. You're talking about like onion skinning, kind of. Yeah, that's something I was considering, is what if I like, kind of like how, you know, Pixel Edit does it, is that Pixel Edit has this thing, so you can always draw like this on this one. So given an animation 1, so you do like draw here, you can step to the next one, then you can onion skin back like that. Like, that's cool. I think that'd be kind of neat to have as well. And so that, I guess this is what your image would look like as well. Yeah, yeah. If you want like an animation feature, I think that would be really, really cool. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're still getting the basics. You gotta learn how to crawl before you walk. Let's see, offset, this should not be centered. You start within the sprite base. What? So this is, okay, hold on. This is your base sprite, and then this is your transform sprite. I think that makes sense. So whenever you are moving something on a layer, we'll duplicate the base sprite to the transform sprite, and then we'll move the transform sprite around. Yes. No. Yes. I'm not sure. I think that design makes sense. Let's send it. You have started with Atlas with 1 frame in it? Or never mind. I don't know. Sounds like something you should implement. That's not for me to implement. I think just like a sprite sheet kind of thing, that's good enough for me. That's probably as complicated as I'm going to get with this. Unless this gets really popular, in which case we'll see. If this really pops up in popularity, then of course, you know. Let's see. Each layer is a node 2D. It's not just a sprite. We'll always draw to the base sprites. But when you move things around, you'll be moving the transform sprite. Yeah, I think that makes sense. This will be huge. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. It's like the same thing of this project manager thing, right? Is like, I thought this would be pretty useful, but I don't think too many people see or there's not many tools out there just yet that really allow you to take full advantage of, like, you know, just randomly adding plugins to whatever you want. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just really bad at SEO. Unless it's slow. Only problem is that, oh, it seems fast enough right now, right? It's like, this is pretty fast. Even like drawing like really big amounts of pixels is really fast. So that's something I'm not super worried about. Like, look how fast this is. Even though like I'm just doing like a really basic, you know, flood algorithm. To be fair, I don't trust that project manager unless I wrote it. Fair enough, I suppose. Fair enough. I guess it is like overwriting your projects, but let's see. Maybe I can unit test it or something. That's fair enough, though. So why people may not want to use it, yeah. It's fair enough. Yeah, I was checking the itch.io stats and it was like 1 download. 28 views, but 1 download. We'll see. Unready var base sprite. Revar transform sprite. Still cool. Yeah, it's alright. Try not to get my hopes up too much for anything. Let's see. So how do I know which layer is current? I don't think I need to track this on this node. All right, let's also get around to loading in just random things at runtime. So I did add a menu bar at the very bottom as well. It currently doesn't do anything. It is nice to have. So you just have pixels, then there's like the test thing. So it just kind of inserts itself into your whatever. So then this is still just the pixel art thing. There's your toolbar. Look at that. Right now it even does blending for you as well. Very cool. So that's what I would expect from a tool like this. Let's disable it now. Menu bar. I think I'm going to go like this. So we have tree. Let's see. Var root, which will be a tree item. So this is tree. Create item. Parent null, index null. This tree should have just 1 column. Yeah, so there's your root, and then we'll do tree, or hold on. Tree hide roots, true. Hide folding, I think that's all right. Yeah, and I think what I'm going to do is something similar to how my project manager works. So you'll have your config stuff and then you'll just be able to, you'll default to viewing everything, but then if you select one of the filters, it'll, you know, filter stuff for you. I like that approach. So if you don't want to filter, you don't need to filter. So let's see. What items are there though? Let's see. It is starting to get pretty late as well. Var general tree create item with a parent's root. I think we want to allow for reselecting, so we'll connect to that. Tree connect, what is it called? Item selected, self on item selected. I'd like to contribute this for some prudence maybe. Always appreciated, always appreciated. Be pretty sick. Item selected. Alright, so when item is selected, then we'll want to do this, and then this will handle all of your menuing and stuff. Don't also want to overdone anything. Sure. On item selected. I think this is going to follow like how I implemented the project manager. So project manager. That one was pretty easy as well. So that's just like config. Let's see, config view. Then I connected on several things. tree var tree item is tree get selected. Should be okay. But before that, I guess like we can just display everything that we want to have inside of this VBox container. So there's like hbox. We'll call this we'll put 2 buttons in it, right? 2 buttons. Make them like really big. That's all right. So there is save, load. Yeah, and then we can just have this pop up in like your main screen if you want. Yeah. So when you click save or when you click load, it will show you like a big pop-up with like, you know, the standard file dialog stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's just make sure this works here. This isn't currently enabled for the standalone version. I need to make a shim for that. Okay, cool. So that's good as well. So when you click save, you'll get a thing. I think I should also hook into the built-in Godot saving stuff. So whenever you click like Control S, it will also, maybe it'll create a temp file, maybe. And then if you actually want this to save, it needs to be hooked into like a specific thing in your project. That's kind of hard. I think saving and loading is always kind of, well, not loading. Loading is pretty easy, but saving is always kind of hard. Imagine this work right away with a selected sprite. So you just save it, it updates the sprite. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I feel like you wouldn't always want that to happen though, but maybe. Or maybe not even the sprite, but like if you click on, I don't know. I don't like the idea of like you just accidentally clicking on the sprite and then you're just editing it. Or you could potentially lose it as well if you accidentally like move off of this sprite. I think I prefer something that's a bit more explicit, but maybe that could be made like a menu option. Is like, do you want to be able to like quick edit a sprite? But I think, for me personally, I think I prefer a more explicit save load dialog. Now quick edit, more like better integration. Yeah, it's quick edit, but it's also like if you're probably, you're more likely to destroy or make a destructive change. I think that's the trade-off. Because I'm not sure what would happen if you like what's the expected behavior if you accidentally click on icon PNG, you're like, oh, okay, let's start drawing on it, and then you switch to something else. So like you click on another image, that other image loads in, and you're like, wait a minute, I want to go back and undo my changes to this sprite. What happens? Right? Like if you've already saved, but now you've loaded in a different sprite and then go back to this one, well, you would expect that you should still be able to undo, but I don't think that's entirely possible anymore. Stays on the temp image, maybe. But then what happens if you accidentally save? That there's no way to go back, right? So yeah, so it goes to a temp image, sure. But then when you hit save, right, you hit save, you click on another sprite, do some editing in there, you hit save, you go back, you know, just because it's a good practice to just save constantly, right? But now you want to undo your changes. Now you have, you know, you've created a destructive change. Version control, yeah, I don't know. I think I can make the quick selection work, but at some point, you know, I think I'm gonna make that the non-default value, but we can make that we can make it very accessible at the very least, I think. So save as, that's always a good one. Save as. Too many mistakes. Imagine this. Save load buttons. All right, so this is, I guess, like config. I guess it's like actual items. Like, nah, this is like the actual menu, I suppose. 2D game with a level you open, draw, and saves to those separate sprites. Like a level editor. Sounds, yeah, I suppose. It's just like the hard part is I need to come up with a better, like, undo, or I guess any undo redo system. The undo redo system that I had in my head was like, you know, this applies to the current thing that you're drawing, and then you would save and like close the image, and then, you know, it goes away. Like that's pretty easy to understand. But then if you want things to immediately take effect, that's a bit harder. I'll have to think about it. We'll have to think about it. Yeah, so there's save as, etc. And then maybe we can have like an additional menu button that's like this is just the close image button. So you show multiple sprites like layers. That it was 100% a version 2. You know, that's 100% like a version 2. Anything that's more complicated than editing a pixel art sprite with colors, that's going to be version 2. Let's see. Let's have a label at the very top. So this is just like the messaging. Right. So if there's something I need to tell you, I'll just display it on that label. I think that makes sense. It's amazing how you could do something like this. Thank you. Took a decent amount of work, at the very least. Can't imagine doing this in Unity. I think in Unity this would be pretty painful to do. It'd be pretty painful. For sure. Let's see. What did I call this for toolbar? I called this like register main. Yeah, okay, so let's have another register main here as well. Register main, some sort of node. And then main will have this control a signal. Yeah, I think it isn't it in Unity if you want to do like UI components, they're all completely stateless. So you need to have like, you need to draw every single component, every single frame, more or less. And then you let Unity handle the actual drawing. I guess like Godot is actually handling the actual drawing in this case as well, but it's that, you know. At least Godot, you get like really easy UI nodes. Just complimenting Godot. I don't know. I don't take offense either way. I didn't write any Godot stuff. In fact, I've actually had 4 of my PRs rejected, so I don't know. It's not really my problem. You know, they can use what they want. It's not. It's not me. It's not me. On messaged. You too as well. What is it about? The PRs, so it's basically to add like better GLTF support for exports, but they didn't want it. Alright, well, I guess I'll use it. And then once one of their core contributors actually needed it, then they wrote their own implementation. I was like, alright, well, they work the same way, but sure, you can have your own. You can roll your own. I already wrote it for you, but that's cool. That's cool. I'll continue to use my implementation. They're strict on PRs. Yeah, well, it's because like, I don't know, like my PR was pretty good. If I added almost no lines, but like included it in like an entirely new feature for exported projects. You know? Which is the ability to load GLTF models at runtime, which you can't do, by the way. You have to use one of my export templates if you want to do this, which is load in 3D models in an exported project. Of course, you can load in 3D models in debug mode, aka editor mode, right? Because the editor can clearly load in 3D models, but that's actually stripped out in export builds. Message sent. They saw no use. Yeah, that's what I was saying, is like they saw no use up until one of their core contributors finally had a use for it. And then they were like, all right, well, we don't want to use your PR, we want to use ours. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Mine worked. And was really clean and didn't require a rewrite, but that's cool. It's cool. Do what you want. Let's see. Message sent. So logger. Oh, okay. So I do just have the logger still doing stuff as well. I forgot that I had this. Emit signal on log. You know what? We can still connect to that. That's fine. So that's node logger connect on log. That's fine. And then we should. That doesn't do anything. But that's also fine. But here we should have a menu somewhere. Where is it? 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 Toolbar. No. Menu. Toolbar. Menu bar. It's a fair point of view for such a project, sadly. They add more things that will get bloated and become like Unity. I mean, it's fair enough, right? I just thought it was kind of weird that like, I had an actual use case. And I did all the work for them. But they're like, nah, we don't need this. But then once one of their, I guess they're one of their core team members, it's like whoever it was like Bastion Ollie. I think that might be his screen name. Right, their lead VR guy was like, oh, actually, we need this for VR. I was like, you can use mine. And they're like, no, we don't want to use that one. I was like, all right, well, sure. That's cool, I suppose. Menu bar. You know, I guess their needs are slightly more important than my, I suppose. Yeah, but at that point, it also becomes a core, or a catch-22, right? Is that you aren't able to, you know, you can't become a core contributor if you don't contribute, but also your contributions are worth less than core contributors because you have no contributions. So it's like you can't accrue contributions because you're not a core contributor. But also, if you're not a core contributor, you're like super like restricted on what you can actually contribute to. So I don't know. Like, I get it. Like, you need some way to trust them, but like my PR was simple, so that's all I'm saying. I like my PR was less than like 50 lines. So whatever. Not salty, by the way. Non-existent function. Register main. Did I not? Oh, okay, hold on. Alright, so this might break. This might crash Godot. So while toolbar is equal to null, or menu bar is equal to null. Alright, so this might break stuff. Oh, no, we're good. Look at that. No output, though. Non-existent function, register main and base nil, and that's because... Or actually, this should be and, but let's not do this again. That's because I need to register this in the plugin as well. So main, toolbar, main, menu bar is equal to menu bar. Looks pretty good. And then in main here, just so I don't freeze, setup util, we'll create, or setup toolbar control. What is setup toolbar control? That's fine. Plug in. This is the menu bar. Create menu bar. One of these, right? Create menu bar, and then this is just my standalone shim. Menu bar equals setup util. One of these. Let's see. We'll do this really quickly so it's easy for me to test. Setup menu bar control bar. Let's see. Anchor left should be 0, 1, etc. So left, right, boom, boom. Should be 0, 0, and 1. Top, bottom. So anchor top, anchor bottom. So it should be anchored on the bottom, but the anchor top needs to be probably 0.8, probably. And then the margins, we'll just make it these default margins. It's pretty good. Set up menu bar control. So var menu MB control. One of these, setup util, call this. There's your MB control, add child, MB control. Then MB control. Yeah, there we go. Let's rename this to be toolbar control, just so we can differentiate between the two. All right, so this should work in standalone now as well. Beautiful. It's so ugly. It's so ugly since it doesn't actually, or the margins are somewhat messed up. Margin top, margin bottom, left, right. Yeah. Why is it so messed up? It's a bit weird. But at least it'll work like this, and then you can see we have the logs. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Like this looks correct. The anchoring should also be correct. So that's 0.80, so 0181, and I might as well be more specific with this as well. So that should be 00, anchor top. Makes no difference. Why is this so strange? Is it because... Hold on, let's think. This is some sort of control. We'll return it later. I think this needs to be modified, so I actually need to mess with these margins as well. So let's make this control. Make this easy. I can copy and paste. I don't think it'll be necessary though. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. It's very strange. That's very strange. Set up menu bar control, add child. Create the menu bar, add child. Should be fine. I don't know. That looked right to me. Whatever. Anyways. That looks good. We start it here. Then this looks good as well. Then we have the thing. We can hook up these to whatever. And then potentially have more buttons as well. And then also the ability to filter out menu options. But that's the end of my time for today. I'm actually way over time, but I did start late. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow from 9 to 11 p.m. working on this again. Let me see, how much more time do we have in the jam? So 5 days, that's enough. I have Friday off, so we'll probably be working on that. But this isn't too bad. This isn't too bad. Just need a way to save and load, and that, like, that's, you know, the very basics handled. Start work on layers and menu bar. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, give the channel follow you haven't already. You actually cannot find this yet on GitHub because I don't want other people submitting my stuff before I can submit it. But it will be free and open source afterwards. Pretty much everything I work on is free and open source. Find stuff on my GitHub. There's a Discord, etc. And yeah, I will see you later. Goodbye.